Good morning, family. I hope you're okay, and I hope you've had a great week so far. And just to say, it's so encouraging and amazing to see so many of you guys joining in with our prayer and fasting, our 21 days of prayer and fasting during January. And as we've ended that, I hope that through the month, you're inspired and challenged to make that a lifestyle as we go through 2021. So, for today's devotional, I just wanted to echo something that Pastor Paul said during his preach this past Sunday, where he spoke about a dunamis, which is the word that we have for church this year and something that we're holding on to and practicing. And one thing that he said was that, a lot of times as children of God, as Christians, we gather information, we have the faith, but we never step out. So we've got all this information, but we actually never put it into action. And as he was saying that, James 2 really started playing on my mind and reminded me the verse that says, faith without works is dead. And I completely agree, church, because, we can have this faith that is rooted in God's faithfulness, right? That we know that God's word is going to come to pass. But when we don't do anything about that, when we don't step out into action, what we're saying or what we're doing is we're leaving that faith to just being something that's emotional. Instead of it being an action and seeing results, we're actually just sitting there with an emotional stir. Let me tell you a story of one thing that I experienced. So when I was 19 years old, a few years back, a group of friends and myself, we went to Spain on holiday. And whilst we were in Spain, I found out I had to travel back a little bit earlier than everyone else. So I got my tickets ready, my flights ready for flying back earlier. And the morning of actually flying out, I woke up super late, got to the airport and found that I had missed my flight. So I'm in Spain, stranded, knowing that I need to really be back urgently, but I've just missed my flight. I look at my account, just as a young person, I find that I don't have enough money to buy myself a new ticket. But what I did in that moment is I knew that if I was to call my parents, they would be able to help me get out of this trouble. That if I were to pick up my phone, call my parents, explain my situation, they'll be able to get me a new flight and I'll be able to still come back home. The reason I was able to do that is because I had faith in their faithfulness to help me through this problem. Now, see, this is the this is what got me here, right? If I had that knowledge, knowing that if I were to call my parents, they would be able to get me out of that trouble, but didn't pick up the call and put it into action, that knowledge would not serve me any good. So as Pastor Paul is challenging us, I just wanted to also encourage encourage everyone watching, as we go through 2021, let's hold on to that word, the dunamis power of God, and knowing that, our faith is rooted in his faithfulness, but it requires acting on it just the way it required me making that call to my parents so that they would get me out of that trouble. Without it, we're just left with an emotional stir. Without it, we're just left with knowledge without any action. So faith without action is dead. So in that moment, if I didn't call my parents, guess what? I would have still been stranded in Spain, knowing that they'll be able, knowing full well and having faith that they'll be able to get me out of that problem, but still not being able to get out of that problem, if that makes sense. So I want to encourage you this morning that, as we go through 2021, why don't we step out as children of God in faith, making sure that our faith is matched with works, so it's just not dead works. Have a blessed day.